Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you once again to the Lennie Robbins YouTube channel. Know your politics. Let's all come together to create a better understanding. Having done that, having said that, we'll be able to better position ourselves to watch what politicians do. It is critical, and I'll never hesitate to say this. It's always critical, important, and fun. It's a profound interest to us. It's a profound interest to us to really watch what politicians do, because the politics around us is very, very critical and becomes an integral part of our own existence. Let me put it that way. I want to jump right here into something, ladies and gentlemen, because in reality, I closed my last video presentation with something about the present Prime Minister, who made a promise in 2017 that Jamaica would be first world country by 2030. And I think Mr. Andrew Holness and the administration pretty well then realized that's not possible, because that statement, even today, is a political feel-good, political smokescreen statement. You understand? The only thing I gave him credit for is that in 7 years later, because 2017 to 2030 is 13 years. But halfway through that period, he comes to admit that it's not possible. 7 years later, he tells us it's not possible. And Mr. Andrew Holness, like I said, sir, I'm regurgitating this because I've said it before, but I'm not afraid to say it again. You knew it was not possible. Your administration knew it was not possible. I don't know if the PMP government had said anything about it, because I didn't hear anything from them, understand, about it at the time. But I do believe you might have get opposition comment from the opposition party at the time about that goal. And you know it wasn't possible because, number one, our airports are not first world standard. None of our port of entries are first world standards. The infrastructure of the country is not first world standard. Nothing. You understand? Our healthcare system is not first world standard. Our policing is not first world standard. Our army is not first world standard. Our transportation system is not a first world standard. But most of all, and most critical, and the fundamental pillar on which first world status rests and can be built, corruption, is one of the worst, weakest pillar in building a first world country for us. And you know the corruption level in Jamaica, Mr. Prime Minister, at the time, because when you look at the scale from the world corruption map, a world corruption scale, Jamaica is way up there. Jamaica is way up there on the corruption scale. And you know with that level of corruption, Jamaica could never become a first world country. Yet you made that promise, and I'll say this again, that was only a political feel-good smokescreen argument that you tried to use to put meat on the bone to capture people's vote. And I'm also wondering, son, a project that you guys say you break ground for the construction of a water treatment plant over in St. Catherine in a district by the name of Content District St. Catherine. You break grounds for a water treatment plant on the 24th of March this year. Right? That plant, it is said it will be a 2-year construction, so it should be ready by 2026. The water treatment plant will benefit over 600,000 Water Commission customers. I never forgot what the minister said, from the head guy from Water Commission. He said the funding for that project came at a time when interest rate is high. We are going into 7 months down the road. I'm wondering where that project is right now. How far down the road has work proceeded with that project? Or is it still in the groundbreaking state? Because I remember the same Water Commission early last year published an article how many trees they're planting to create water catchment here somewhere over in St. Mary. Up to today, no trees were planted. So let's not kid ourselves. You know the level of corruption in the country, so I don't know how you could make that prediction. And any sensible person realizing this, Mr. Holness, when they label the Jamaica Labour Party the corrupt government, they have all right to. But not because they say you are corrupt, it doesn't mean the PNP is not corrupt, because no party is different. None of you other parties different. Neither PNP, neither JLP. You guys are all the same. You operate the same way as two political parties in the country. I recently saw a video also on YouTube where people, Jamaicans, are talking about lamenting the fact that Isat Buchanan was chosen by the PNP to represent them in the East Portland area. I may not be certain it's East Portland, but if I'm not correct, I stand to be corrected. I'm saying this and I bring this up because I want to elaborate on the corruption that is really eating away at our politics, the gutter politics that we're running in Jamaica. And this has to do with both JLP and PNP, because my thing is not about PNP, my thing is not about JLP, which is better, because none of you people are better. I'll say that a million times. And I just want to throw out some names out there. Let us go back to, I'm doing this in a reverse investigation way. I'm not coming from way back then up to the latest thing. I'm taking from the latest to the earliest. The recently concluded PNP annual conference, which big entertainer was called on stage? Vice Carter. Was Isat Buchanan there with him? Yes, he was there. Was Isat Buchanan on stage? Yes, he was. Who represented Vice Cartel at the appellate court in Jamaica appellate court? Isat Buchanan. Who represented him at the Queen's in England, at the Privy Council? Isat Buchanan. Right? Let me add a few names to the mix now. There's a gentleman, ex-FBI agent, Jamaican ex-FBI agent by the name of Wilfred Rattigan. He applied to be Commissioner of Police of Jamaica a couple of years ago. Some years ago. Which government was in power when he did that application? PNP government was in power. The PNP government was in power. Wilfred Rattigan created a One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund organization. For what purpose? For what purpose? To defend people, entity, or anything, or sue the government for anything that they do wrong. This present administration, the JLP. So from Wilfred Rattigan's action over the years, we know it's clearly a PNP. He made that clear himself. Now here comes another person, Wayne Ugly Lonesome. Wayne Ugly Lonesome was also a PNP activist. He made that clear. Because I'm not guessing on this, I'm asking. I'm not going to say anything that's going to put myself out there for a libel or for one to sue me. He made it clear. The Jamaica diaspora we're talking about, I'm telling all of this on the basis of corruption, you know. The Jamaica diaspora that we so boastfully brag about decided to go global. So they want to set up a section of it in Canada and another section of it in England. Now Wayne Ugly Lonesome, without doubt, without fear, without anything at all, hesitation, decided to make himself and demand that he be made the sole head of the diaspora, Canadian diaspora movements. What bullshit is this? Now this is a man who declared himself a PNP activist. Look how the corruption is being permitted in our society. Political corruption. It's not just at home alone, it's also abroad. And I'm not saying this as a matter of fact, this is an opinion for me, but the podcast Make We Talk on YouTube, Mr. Tavares, he should know I may know a lot more about all of these, how all these people are connected than I do. Because there's indications, or should I say assumption, that some of the fund from Wilfred Rattigan's One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund was some of the same fund used to sponsor Vice Cartel Defense. Now, I don't want to get into politics from that perspective, but I'm saying, throwing that all out of there. I'm throwing all of that out there because if we're going to become a first world country, Mr. Prime Minister, going back to your promise, corruption has to be reduced. And neither your party nor the PNP party can boast that you have a better corruption record than any other, than the other. None of you. Because you're all corrupted to the core. From the highest level to the lowest level. You're all corrupted from the ceiling to the floor. And none of you operate better than the other. Now, I'm saying all of that to say this. Because if we as Jamaicans think politicians are going to change or make a change for us on our behalf to give us the kind of opportunity we need as Jamaicans to have a better quality of life, a better way, just a better quality of life. Let me put it there. Because life includes everything that we need to our deal on a daily basis. It's not going to happen from the PNP, it's not going to happen from the JLP. And I'll say this and forever say it. I've dedicated myself to preaching this. It's not going to happen from any political party in Jamaica. None. The power to change all of that and create a better quality of life for Jamaicans rests with the people of Jamaica. And if we don't come together to create this better understanding that we need so that we can watch what politicians do and clearly understand what they're doing and recognize when they're working for us and they're not working, and they're working not for us or against us, we will forever suffer as a people. We will forever suffer as a people. Too many promises have been made to the country by both parties. Too many promises. Too many politics has led the people astray. Let us go back. Let me say this. Cliff Hughes is current. Dean Jackson Miller. And there are other political hosts and analysts before them. Even the current existing Prime Minister who are alive and retiring politicians. Ask them all together or individually. If by cursing out JLP and cursing out PNP will make Jamaica a better place. And I'm saying this because this also is a part of the whole corruptedness of our politics in Jamaica. Because this now addresses bloggers. This is him now addressing bloggers and the YouTube channel, political bloggers and podcast people. You ask all of these politicians, both from JLP and PNP side, if cursing out either party will ever make Jamaica a better place. Or is it that the recipe for making our lives better in Jamaica? Never. It is. So sometimes when I listen to some of these bloggers and what they're saying, it is very evident somebody must be paying them to say what they're saying. Because if you're really thinking about the Jamaica that we're talking about, the Jamaica quality of life, if you're thinking about that and people's life, people's existence, some of the things you guys are saying on the platform, on your platform, you must be paid to say it. That's my opinion. Because I don't see how we can be arguing something on behalf of Jamaica, for Jamaica, and I'm telling you PNP is better than JLP, or I'm saying JLP is better than PNP. At the same time I'm arguing for Jamaica, I'm arguing for PNP. The same time another set is arguing for Jamaica, they're arguing for JLP. I've never heard them direct them effort to educating the people and uplifting the people in a sense that we must become aware of what is happening to us. Politicians will always talk, politicians will always say what they have to say. But does that mean what they're telling us will benefit us? We don't need pipeline politics. We don't need nothing in the pipeline. We need reality. We don't need promises no more. And all both parties are doing is promising. They promise. And I'd like to throw this question out there, this thing out there for all bloggers who may be getting paid. I don't know who's getting paid by any political entity or by anyone special to say what you're saying. You tell us then, if there's anyone out there getting paid, let us know. Be bold. If you're getting paid, man, be honest about it. So you have to support what you're supporting and say what you have to say. I'm calling you out on it. Anyone out there, come out and say what you have to say. If you're getting paid to say what you have to say it. And answer this question. Or say that you, your family, your friends, and your associate, is what you're doing it benefiting Jamaica? And if so, tell us how is it benefiting Jamaica? Not the interest behind you, but Jamaica. Time for us to stop this crap, and it's time for us to stop the nonsense. We have become useful idiots to the point that we have no sense of purpose and direction for ourselves. We have to be guided by politics and by politicians. We have to be. Because we allow ourselves to be useful idiots for the entire politics and the entire governance of the country, the entire political arena. We become useful idiots for all the political players in Jamaica. All politicians are elected to be administrators of public policy. Public policy, not special interest policy, not certain people policy, not particular group policy, not certain entity policy, but public policy. What does that mean? What does public administrators mean? To be a public administrator, what does that mean? To be a public officer, what does that mean? What does it mean? Apparently in Jamaica, public doesn't mean one crap. It doesn't mean one crap. Public in Jamaica doesn't mean nothing. Public is a word they banded. Politicians just throw out there to give an impression, but it doesn't mean one crop in Jamaica. Doesn't mean nothing. And back to you, Mr. Holness. I'm hoping that we can get some report and update on that project over in Content, that water treatment plant that is being built or should be built in 2 years' time within cost. We should get some report on it to know whether or not the project is on budget, and it's on time, and it's within its budget. Not like the Cornwall Regional Hospital that take how many years. I don't know if it's even finished. And the cost overrun on that project alone is shameful. I don't know, government is not ashamed. You guys are not ashamed. But this is something for the people of the nation to recognize and realize. I'm saying this loud and clear. Loud and clear. When a project is overrun, the cost is borne by the public, taxpayer, not government. If we get to a point where the country can't pay its debt, don't think it's Andrew Holness going to pay the debt, or any member of his cabinet or administration. Don't think the JLP is going to pay the debt, or the PMP is coming in to pay the debt. What's going to happen is the public will have to bear the burden of paying that debt. Us, taxpayers, will have to pay that debt. So we need to stop being useful idiots for these political parties and realize that all that is happening is going to fall back on us. Good or bad, we are the ones going to have to pick up that responsibility. Not the politicians. In no way, shape, or form they're willing to do it, and they will ever do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I really just want to use this opportunity to once again to say welcome to all Jamaicans home and abroad. Know your politics. Let us come together and create a better understanding for each other, so we can all, in our own individual way, watch what politicians doing. Watch what they do, because it's important. It's become it's a profound part, or a fundamental part of the way we're going to live our lives and the quality of life we're going to have. How we're living now and will have in the future. Our own existence is threatened. Our own existence is threatened. Even the man who is running a business now in Jamaica will tell you that he is struggling to keep afloat. So we are across the country, basically most people are in an existential crisis. We are in an existential crisis. While at the same time the government is trying to tell us that if we do this and do that, we can be a first world country. You ever hear them say they're going to do this to reduce corruption? When last have we heard a statement about reducing corruption in politics and the society? When last have we heard government say anything about that, or even the opposition themselves? The opportunity to do that, we missed it at the last constitutional reform we had a couple of months ago. We missed it at that constitutional reform. The Integrity Commission that people are jumping up and down and running up on their mouth all about Integrity Commission, IC investigating the Prime Minister and this and that and all sort of shit. Those are just smoke screen, feel good political arguments, people. The Integrity Commission cannot do the Prime Minister one crap. Integrity Commission cannot criminalize no action against any politicians. They can't. They can't be the springboard to finding a politician guilty of anything. Nothing. They cannot be. So don't let people bamboozle you with this Integrity Commission investigation or ability to investigate anything. They can only investigate so much. The IC is not even a benefit to the country. It's not a benefit to Jamaica. Because the Constitutional Reform Committee makes sure that they eliminate impeachment. Impeachment was first mentioned by Professor Carl Stone years ago. Governments reject it. Both parties reject it. Delroy Chuck raised it again. They reject it. Someone else raised it again. It was raised 3 times before and has been rejected. And here again in the constitutional reform, Marlene Malao Ford came out and says it was rejected. She's the spokesperson for the present governing government and legal affairs. She's the spokesperson on legal affairs for the government now in power. It wasn't considered. It wasn't considered impeachment or recall. Neither impeachment nor recall. So ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans all over, let us wake up. Lennie Robbins. I don't mind being the lone voice out there in the wilderness crying for certain changes and certain awakening of the consciousness and conscience of Jamaican people. We have to, and it's going to be, listen, I'm hoping we can wake up before it's too late. I hope we can wake up before it's too late. And I've learned this from about 16 years of age. The service you get is the service you accept. So whatever government dishes out to you is what you, and you accept it, is what you're gonna get. And government realize that no matter what they dish out to you, you're gonna accept it. Because we're not smart enough to realize that our existence is on the line, not theirs, not their family, none of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we can talk all day on this, we can sing all we want to sing and do all we want to do for the rest of our lives on politics, just like that. We don't even have to tell who is doing this or who is that. Just talk about the general, politics in general, and a common sense thing to politics. So I just want to use this and say to all Jamaicans, good evening to you all. Welcome once again to the Lennie Robbins YouTube. And if you see this video out there, please like, share, leave a comment. You understand? Subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified on it, you know. Stay tuned because we have a lot more to come in a common sense politics. I'm not here to prove that I know all the things I know. Because all who want YouTube tell them know this and know that. They don't know it all, they don't know everything. And a lot of the stuff they're saying doesn't even make sense because there's no truth. There's no evidence to support what they're saying, just saying things. You understand? So let us come together. We all can do this together, both YouTube, bloggers and everybody. We all come together, man. If you see us about Jamaica, and let us defend Jamaica for what it is. So we all can meet and downtown Kingston and laugh and enjoy ourselves in the William Garden Park and enjoy ourselves. Anywhere we are in Jamaica, we should be able to be free and enjoy ourselves. Let us all come together and bring up one Jamaica, one love. Lennie Robbins, YouTube. Over and out.